Welcome to Camp Unwrapped. Great to see you again, Tom and Andy. Hi.
Hello, Rich. You all right?
Very, very good, thank you. It's lovely to see you. And it is amazing to see a great friend of ex-UK who is a former camper. He's been a staff at 3 of our 4 camps. He's born in Italy. He's now in Australia. There's no ex-UK experience this guy has not had. Welcome to Paolo. How are you, Paolo?
Hi guys, great to see you. It's an honor to be part of this, and I'm really excited to get started.
Are you all safe and well where you are? Paolo?
Absolutely, yeah, everything is great here. I'm very lucky to be where I am.
And your family's all well back in Italy?
Yes, everybody's in Milan, nicely and happily in lockdown in Milan, but they're working from home. My mom is working from home, my brother's working from home, and my dad is just relaxing some well-deserved time off.
Fantastic. Well, do wish them all the best from us.
Paolo, you came as a camper to XUK. Can you remember your first year at camp and why you came here?
Yeah, I can. Almost as if it was yesterday, actually, but it was 10 years ago, 2010. I came as an early teen with my brother, and I came because my mom sent me because I needed to learn English. So I was a little kid with long hair. People wouldn't recognize me now, and I was very excited for my first experience abroad, and it didn't let me down for sure.
Rich, can you remember Paolo back in 2010?
Well, I can definitely remember Paolo in 2010 and the following few years that he attended as a camper. Other than the beard that he's grown, he looks exactly the same, still young and very handsome. I remember him being Citizen of the Week at camp. He was a great kid, very talkative, very confident, and kind as well. My main memory of him, though, which contradicts all of that, was telling him off there was an issue with a couple of his friends and telling him and his friends off. And it's a shame. That's the one thing I seem to remember of Paolo, because he's now grown into being such a close friend and colleague.
Andy, it's not really something that we experienced growing up in Britain here, but you can probably see how going away as a young child to another country can help you learn another language, perhaps.
Yeah, absolutely. I can imagine the value of sending kids, and at camp we're seeing kids coming over from 10, 9, 8 years old, coming over and just immersing themselves in this foreign culture and foreign language. So yeah, I can really imagine that that's hugely beneficial, but also massively challenging. So I suppose a question for you, Paolo, did you experience many challenges in those first couple of years of you coming to camp at that young age?
Yes, absolutely. I remember especially the first 2 years. I was 13 and 14, and my English wasn't that good. So I did struggle a lot to get out and talk to people, make new friends. And as a teenager, that's what you want to do. And I can see why a lot of kids now struggle with doing that, because it is a second language and it's pretty hard and complicated. But once you get started, it makes it so much easier and better.
So Paolo, can you remember back from when you were here as a camper, any particular activities or days out, trips that particularly stand out to you that you look back on with fond memories?
Yeah, of course. The first years I was at camp, I was in Eccles, and back then we had some activities that we still have, but to me they were very special because, for example, out of bounds and quad bikings I've never tried in my life, and it was just super exciting, to try something so cool, so new, so different that I'd never experienced before, and I could only do that at camp. So every time I came back, I was always looking forward to those activities that were just extraordinary.
Brilliant. So you then went on to working at XUK a few years later. How long after being a camper with us did you decide, yeah, this is a job that I'd love to do as well?
I decided I wanted to work for XUK roughly my second to last year. I was like, I want to come back. I want to come back. I want to come back. And we didn't have a leader in training program at the time yet. So I was constantly bothering staff members and Richard to give me a go to let them help them. And then my last year when I was 17, they started to have something that was sort of like the leader in training program. And I took part in some activities organizing them, and it was just brilliant. I loved it. I knew that I wanted to come back, but I thought maybe my young age would get in the way of me doing that. So I decided to wait a year, mature a little bit, and then come back when the time was right. So that's what I did. So the summer when I was 18, I decided not to apply, to then apply when I was 19. And I think that was a smart choice, because when I came back, I was a little bit more detached from the kids at camp. I was a little bit more mature, and there was less people that I knew from when I was a camper.
It's fascinating that Paolo says that, because there's a lot of campers who maybe aren't so mature and aren't thinking ahead, and they finish at 17 and think, I'm ready to be a staff member, jump straight into the interviews. They haven't had any real life experience, and they're not successful at an interview, and because they haven't got anything to put on their application form, and they're not able to perform at an interview. So it's very, very difficult for them. So the route that Paolo took, a year off, being mature enough to admit that they've got a year to mature additionally, and then go for it really properly, is a really sensible thing to do.
So Paolo, you were there as a child and you saw the activities being ran, but do you think you fully appreciated what goes into the planning and what the staff have to prepare for when they're doing an activity? Or do you think that only came when you started to run activities yourself?
Yeah, I can't say I can talk for everybody that comes to camp, but as a camper, I always appreciated the effort the staff members would do. Not all the time, but like I could tell when, for example, an evening activity was well planned and I would have so much fun, I would recognize that effort. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm really happy that this staff member that run it put that effort into it. However, when I started planning them myself, I started really realizing how much work there is behind it, how much planning there is behind it, how much team effort we put behind it. And the reason why our activities are so great, especially the evening ones, the ones most planned, is because the team is amazing. And you don't just plan it yourself, but you involve 8, 10 staff members with it that help you run through it and make it, every single one of them, unforgettable for all the campers that experience it that night.
So Andy, as activity manager, when it comes to evening activities, how long would it usually take to plan one of those? You know, how hard do people have to work on that?
Usually people are spending, a couple of days planning these activities. And because you're in pairs, you'll be with someone else, another team member organizing these activities. It could take you maybe 2 or 3 days, the best part of a week, to plan these activities. And depending on the theme that you're given, you can really go into depth. I know with like the casino nights, these can take a lot of planning, and it's not just about the planning. Like, you can plan as much as you want, but it's also about the communication to the staff members around you, making sure the whole of the team are aware of what's going on and what they need to do also. So there is a lot of planning that goes into these kinds of activities. And as Paolo said, now, as a camper, you did appreciate it, but actually you planning and going through the procedure as a staff member, that's when you've really appreciated it. So it's interesting hearing the different sides of the story there.
Yeah, it's fascinating to hear, Andy, what you said there, and linked to what Paolo said. So we're talking about planning, and Paolo was talking about teamwork, and the two are so important. And when doing any of these activities, you need to understand your own strengths and weaknesses and others. It might be that you plan the most incredible activity in the world, but it might be that your delivery isn't the best, and that's fine. Not everyone has the same kind of delivery. So if you know who in the team has amazing delivery, then you allow them to deliver it. You've been the sort of the brains, as it were, behind the exercise, and then you deliver these most incredible activities, and you've only done that because it's a real team game.
I felt that especially in 2019, when me and Tom, we were involved in planning the Colour War. That team that we had, I felt worked really well, because Tom comes up with a lot of ideas and is involved a lot in the planning. And then, you know, we each have our different roles. So maybe on the day we're organising different people, or we have different parts of the activities that we're going through in depth, or we're working together to form, you know, like the big relay at the end. It's all part of that teamwork, and I think that's what made it work so well.
Yeah, for sure. There's so much planning that goes on behind the scenes. So, Paolo, in recent years, you've worked at ex-UK English and at the day camps as well. Would you say there's a huge difference between, say, a residential camp like English and activity?
ex-UK English is very similar to ex-UK activity that I was more used to it, and I wasn't really sure how would it interact with the camp English, and it was absolutely brilliant. The team didn't let me down. The team was amazing at both camps. Day camps as well. I could see why all the staff that work there were selected to work at those camps. The kids are much younger, and the people that we had there were incredible with kids. I was not that ready to start when I started Easter camps or day camps, but luckily the team was there to help me, and it was an amazing experience working with kids much younger than the ones I was used to. Because I always work with teenagers, and then getting thrown with a bunch of much younger kids was a bit of a shock for me at the beginning, but it was a different experience that I definitely value a lot.
It's fascinating that Paolo says that he's come from the residential camps as an experienced member of staff who other people lean on and ask for advice, and then comes to the day camps and is willing to say, okay, now it's time for me to lean on other people and learn, because it's a different environment. And that's what in any walk of life, in any business, in any job, you need to learn from other people, and if you can do that, you'll succeed. And that's one of the reasons why Paolo has worked with us for so many years and at so many different camps.
Yeah, like you say, Rich, a very experienced member of staff, and we're very grateful to have him work with us. So thank you for coming on today, Paolo, and a great insight there as to what goes on as a child and at all of our different camps. So thank you.
Thank you so much, guys, for having me. And I really do miss you. And to whoever was listening, as you know, maybe as a camper, you make friends that last forever. It's the same thing when you work for ex-UK, because I haven't seen these guys for a long time now, but it's always pure joy getting in touch with them and updating each other on what goes on in our lives. And even just this quick phone call is something very special to me. And thank you so much, guys, for having me. It's been an honor, and I hope you all stay safe and I get to see your pretty faces again soon.
Paolo, you're a great guy. Lovely to see you. Thank you so much, and take care.
Wow, so another lovely chat with a special guest, and what a nice guy Paolo is, Rich.
Oh, he's amazing. He's one of the few that you really remember from 10 years ago as a camper. He's always been such a nice, communicative guy. We've all been to see him in Italy. I've been skiing with him. I've met his parents. You know, he's a great guy, great family, and I miss him a lot. I'm actually a bit sad he's gone.
Yeah, Rich, and I'd say the friendship that we've got now with Paolo is really testament to the wider friendships you can make at camp. It provides such a immersive and a nice environment to make friends with, and we've seen multiple people outside of camp now, and the number of people that have flown over to see Paolo in the last few years from camp is incredible. So yeah, so that's really testament to camp itself, I think.
Yeah, completely agree. It's just wonderful thinking of the amount of friends that we've all made and each other as well. So I've got a question today for you both, based on our chat that we've had today. I want to ask you, who has been the most experienced member of staff based on how many camps they've worked and if they've been a camper as well?
Well, surely based on the conversation we've just had, I'm going to say it's Paolo.
No, it's not. He would probably be the second equal most experienced. There is one person who's done more than him. Andy, do you know who it is?
Yeah, I've got a good idea, Rich. I'm going to say it's Reese.
Yeah, spot on. It is Reese. So Reese has been a camper. He's worked on all 3 of our residential camps, and he's worked on both of our day camps. Now, we only have one now, but we did have one called Cross Keys. So he's worked on 5 camps and as a camper. So Reese he's probably our most experienced person on the team.
Yeah, that's incredible.
My winning streak is gone. Anyway, that is it from us today. Thank you for listening. Remember, stay safe, and we'll see you again soon.